If you want a stickered GAN 11M Pro to come out, like the video, and if it gets enough likes, we'll send that news to GAN. Hello guys, this is Mo from the Cube Critics, and this is your Cubing Roundup. So let me give you some more info on the GAN 11M Pro. If you missed out last video, just go check that out. We've seen 4 versions, 2 frosted versions, 1 black, 1 primary internals, and then 2 coated versions. So one's UV coating, which is like a glossy kind of plastic, and a soft version, which is kind of like a gaming mouse, which is kind of like a rubbery feel. The 2 coated versions will be at $69.99 US, whilst the 2 frosted versions will be at $64.99 US. Moving on, we've got the GAN Budget Smart Cube. We've seen a GAN I, a GAN I V2, and the GAN I Play. The GAN I Play being cheaper than the 2 main flagship smart cubes. This one is going to be slightly cheaper than the GAN I Play. We know it's got a non-replaceable battery that's going to be charged at the factory and is expected to last 1 year. So it's not going to be chargeable like that of the other GAN Is. This is going to come out with the timer in December. Moving on to the Moyu cubes. We've seen the RS2M being solved by Yusheng Du in his video, links in the description below. We know the RS2M 2020 is 50mm, which is the standard size for 2x2s. We think this is set to replace the Meilong series, which was their previous 2019 budget series, I think. So that's going to be interesting. The line currently consists of an RS2M 2020, an RS3M, an RS4, and maybe an RS5, probably an RS5, which is probably going to be their 5x5. Moving on to bread. We've got the Qi bread, also known as the 2x2 Qi cane that we talked about. Qi cane? Again, the keychain. We talked about that in the previous video. They've also got a bread 3x3, so that's interesting. Loads of different size breads. That's a little odd. Moving on, we've got the Qi 1 4x4W and the S2. That's very confusing because the W is the stickered version and the S2 is the stickerless version. Different names for the same cube, just in different variants. So that's interesting. This is following on from the Qi 1 V1. That's a little tongue twister. Try saying that 4 times fast. That was released in late 2018, around September time. So that was around 2 years back from now. So it's interesting to see that they're releasing this now. Another confusing thing is actually everyone knows about the MS series, right? That was released in early 2020, and this is going to be released in 2020 as well, possibly. So that's going to be competing against each other. Last time we saw this kind of competition was with Qi again, and it was with the Ruwei and the Thunderclap V3 from the same company, so that was interesting as well. That I think was in 2019, both being budget 3x3s. So let's hope that doesn't get confused again. Okay, moving on. We've got the Shadow V2M, as we talked about in the last video. We've been teased with 4 versions, as we can see from this little image. Quick thing to point out is the cube on the left, out of the 4 cubes, looks as though it's frosted plastic, so there could be 4 different versions. Either that or Qi's just messing with us, but that definitely does look frosted compared to the other cubes. Guess in the comments below, and we'll just have to wait and see for that. Quick summary of what Qi's coming out with. They got bread, they've got confusing 4x4s, and they've got 4 versions of the Shadow V2M, we think, so we'll just have to see about that. Very interesting. Moving on, we've got YJ, a lot of new cubes that we need to talk about. They've got the MGC Repulsion. We've seen Phil Yu on the Cubicle unbox that and do some first turns. It's got repelling magnets when you turn the face at 45 degrees, so there's no corner cutting required at 45. Moving on, we've got the YJ Mini Series. We've seen a little sneak peek on Instagram, image right here, of the YJ Mini Series. We see a 4x4, 3x3 and 5x5. We've known the 3x3 to be called the Zilong or the Zilong. I'm not sure about that. 3x3, that's what it's going to be called, and it's going to be 50mm, and it's going to be quite good for OH as well. The 4x4 is going to be called the Jisoo. It's going to be 56mm. Then there's going to be a 5x5. No 2x2 just yet, but the 5x5 is going to be called the Jichuang, and it's going to be 58mm. This is likely going to be the budget mini-series of 2020. The 4x4 is actually the same size as standard 3x3s, so that's also another thing to mention. You can't really tell, but if I zoom in really close on the image, you can tell by how the pieces connect that YJ have implemented their ridge design. Their ridge design is actually fairly nice. Quick summary of this episode. We've seen big bread, we've seen small bread, we've seen Yu Shengdu flexing his skills, confusing Chi names, batteries and cubes, repelling magnets, and lots of new budget series. So be sure to hit that like, comment below, and subscribe to the channel. See ya.